Hello! Right, I've got a little assembly video for you for the tentacle arm. There's quite a lot of parts to it, so it's probably good to actually give you a bit of a breakdown. So I've cleaned everything up, taken off most of the flash lines, removed everything. So best place to start is you've got your middle connector. What I like to do is put a bit of tape down so you can pop your glue on there, so you're not working from the pot, you're working from a piece of tape. Now, you've got this large spike which comes sprued up, so that is designed to be glued right in the center. So it's probably best to do that now before you put any of the tentacles on. So that just gets glued in the center like so. Yeah, nice and easy. Right, and you've got the top of the arm. And what I've actually done with this kit is I've created a ball joint, so you can actually position it however you want. So you want to line up the three spigots with the three balls around the outside. That's where your pistons are going to be attached to. Now what I'd recommend doing is tilting it towards one of the lower balls. Obviously you can glue it on straight if you want it as a straight joint, but I'm going to tilt mine slightly. So again, working from the tape, a little bit of glue in this side. Line it up from above so you're all kind of in line with the balls, and then tilt it over. There you go. So that's tilted ever so slightly. Now what you need to do is cut one of your pistons to fit like so. Now what I'd recommend doing is popping the piston into the joint there, and then working very slightly off, so you can see the length. Yeah, that's going to work. So I've just cut it very slightly oversized and then pushed it into place. And obviously you can glue that. Just for this purpose I'm going to leave them loose for ease. So again, pop it in, eye it up so you're just slightly lower than the ball, and cut it, and that should pop into place. Oh, that just popped off. As I said, that should. There you go, it should pop into place quite nicely, like so. You can make that join a little bit neater if you want, with a bit of filler, a bit of putty. Again, same on this side. Cut it and put it into place. Cool, so that's your upper joint assembled together. Now you've got the tentacles. The tentacles, each one comes in 3 parts, and from that you can assemble any of the pieces together, so you can create quite dynamic poses. So each tentacle has got these 6 nubbins all the way around, and the idea is you can take any one of the pieces and assemble it. As long as you line up the nubbins, you can actually pose it so it's twisting anyway. So if you were to take the really bent over piece and the straighter one, you can assemble the two together and actually just twist it so that it creates a bit more of a dynamic look, and that actually creates more of a 3D curve to it. So if I were you, I'd line them up and kind of dry fit them all together, see how you like the design. Again, dry fit into the socket. So I'm going to quickly assemble those together now. There you go, so I'm just assembling the last piece now. I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest. I've just pop them together in a way that I think looks cool. So there you go, it's my 3 tentacles assembled. Again, you can completely intermix any of the pieces together, obviously top, middle, bottom, whichever way you like. So hopefully that'll create a nice dynamic look. The set comes with 2 different ends, and obviously you've got 3 of each, so you can mix and match. Now you've got the standard kind of spiky claw, and then you've got the grabbing claw as well. So assemble whichever one of those you want onto the end. I'll do that probably do that afterwards because I want to make sure that once the tentacles together, the claws are all pointing in the right direction. So again, take your body, and this is probably a good time to perhaps assemble it onto the knight itself, so you can actually see which way the arm's twisting and bending. So you've got these ball joints at the top, so I'm just going to pop mine in just with a little bit of glue, and if I don't like it, I'll just break it out. Yeah, that's one. I like to use activator just to speeding things up. It's just because I'm impatient. So as you can see, I'm not really thinking about it, I'm just popping it together. I know it's going to sit on the left hand side of the knight, so I'll make sure the arms are kind of twisting out to the side. That works quite well. There we go. Boom. Nice and dynamic. So what you've then got, you've got these 3 sockets on the inside, and you've got these socket collars on the tentacle themselves. Now the idea is you glue these into there. So this works for all of the resin cables we do. And the best way to do it is you glue one end in, so you can glue all 3 of them. Like so, and then take a hairdryer and heat each one up one by one, and then glue the end in, and then do the same and repeat the process. So I'm going to do that now. Yes, you take those 3 again, just a standard hairdryer. I'll do that now quickly and you can see. So what I've done here is I've heated this one up, and I've used tweezers to hold it into place while it cools down, and once it cools down it actually sets quite nicely. And what I'll do is just pull it out of the way, take another blob of glue from my tape, pop the glue into the hole, and you can use the tweezers to hold it back in until that sets. And obviously when you heat all the other ones, you'll heat the original one as well, but the shape shouldn't change too much. It should just relax a little bit and take a bit of the pressure off. So I'm going to repeat that process now for the other 2. And there we go, I've just glued the last one into place. As you can see, I've heated all 3 and the shapes haven't changed at all. The resin will relax into position as long as it's glued each side. It should hold nicely. As you can see, it's looking really nice and dynamic now. And that's what I like about this kit, is you can actually really change this tentacle up and actually make it look a lot more dynamic and a lot more organic as well, which is great. So the only last thing to do now, obviously except for assemble it onto the knight, is around each of these collars you've got 2 more open connectors. Now the reason why there's 3 is because obviously depending on how you position the tentacle depends on where the plug goes for the cable. But I've given you a load of extra spikes, and what you can do is just glue those spikes into the 2 remaining holes in order to give it a bit more of that spiky chaos feel. So I'll just quickly do that now. Now clean up the spikes, it's quite a good point for you. It can be quite tricky. What's quite good to do is put down a piece of double-sided tape, because I've just tried to clean a couple up myself and lost them on the floor, but I do give you loads of extras, so it's fine. Take your spike, stick it down to the double-sided tape, hold it in place, and that hopefully will allow you just to trim off the excess on the bottom without it pinging off. You can do that for all of them. There we go. Now when gluing into place, again, because they're really small and quite fiddly, if you take a piece of blue tack or white tack, sticky tack, whatever, and put it in between some tweezers, you can pick up your little spike, put your activator in place, and again with the tape that's on the table with your glue on it, very carefully pick up a piece of glue, pop your spike in place, There we go, and push it in, glue it in place. It's a bit of an easier technique for you rather than fingers and dropping them. So I'll just repeat that for all the rest. So you can see from there, glued all the spikes in, got nice posed tentacles. And all I've got left to do now is decide which heads I want in there and glue them in. But I'll probably do that once it's actually onto the knight, because then you can get a bit more of a sense of which way you want the actual blades poking. But yeah, hopefully that helped you guys out and gave you a bit of an insight into the best way to assemble that, and hopefully gave you a few little model making tips, which is always quite handy to know. But there we go. Any questions at all, obviously feel free to ask. I'm always on Facebook, Instagram, or the store chat if you want to find anything out. But yeah, hopefully you guys have fun with this.